everybody, and welcome to In the Paint with Christy Winter Scott right here on the Her Hoop Stats Podcast Network. And oh man, listen, I have somebody today that's going to go straight into the paint with us. It is none other than three-time gold medalist, two-time ABL champ, two-time WNBA champ, and so many other things. Big Ten Player of the Year back in '96 at the Ohio State University. Katie Smith. Oh my gosh! Thank you so much for joining us today in the paint. How are you?
I'm great. It's so good to see you. Obviously, I see you a lot throughout the year and all of that. But yeah, I'm great. You know, holiday season, basketball time, all the good stuff happening. It feels like it never ends now, which is really awesome for women's basketball. So I'm all for it. I was watching all the games last night. It was a lot of SEC, ACC challenge, and just some really good games last night. So yeah, I mean it's I like to see it all.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And I guess we can start there and kind of just work through your journey. But I just want to start with the pulse of women's basketball. I mean, you were at the beginning of it, in the middle of it, really kind of. But now, with seeing the exponential growth of the game, especially over the last 3 or 4 years,
Yeah.
what do you say has been the biggest marker of that?
Yeah, I think the talent is top notch. I've always, from the time I played, and even the ladies prior to me, like the talent's kind of always been there. I mean, these ladies, I mean, everybody, I mean, it's nuts, right? So, but the biggest thing that's happening is that the viewership has gone up. The eyes are on. Is that social media? Is it all the platforms? Is it whatever it is? The viewership's gone up, right? So
Right.
attendance, and then now you have corporate investment, and now you have people understanding and saying, and again, I don't know why it's taken so long. That this has worth. This has value. We need to get in. You know what I mean? We need to invest in this, and if you get in early, it's going to blow up. So again, what was the trigger? Obviously, Caitlin Clark has brought crazy new eyes, onto the sport in such a great way, and also not a great way in some ways. But it's also been awesome for the league. But again, why viewership? The connections that they have with players from college to pro, then seeing their personalities on social media and stuff. So attendance, corporate investment, it's just really special, and I'm pumped because obviously I've loved the game for a long, long time before all these people, all these eyes and money are going into it. So just really happy for those that are in it now and for the game in general.
Yeah, for sure. And you look back at your career at Logan High School, where it all started for you, on that level. What was it during that time about the game that drew you in, and now like put a pin in that thought and then carry that person, that high school Katie Smith, forward to now and look at the game where it is?
Yeah, like in high school, I love sports. First of all, I like being active, but it was the competitiveness. It was a little bit of the physicality. It was the skills, like you had to dribble, shoot. Like it's this combination of having to do things and then doing it at the moment's notice, like kind of reacting. So it was like all of those things that went into it, and also the mental of like thinking like every play, every possession, like how do you win and how do you gain an advantage.
Yeah.
So I think that like the basketball piece is so much going on in a game.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I loved it. Obviously when you're good at something, you kind of stay with it. You know what I mean? You're like, ooh, this is fun. But I did, and even as I got older and college, pros, it was all of those things. It's also the teamwork, that camaraderie. When you have it, you know when you don't. When your team's going to be successful, there's not something you could say it's this, but it's a feeling. When championship teams or teams that have success have it, so that
Right.
bond is like no other. So it's I think it's a great game. I think it allows you to be strong, allows you to be confident, allows you to be it's just allows you a space to do that, where sometimes maybe growing up it's a little better now, not great, even when it's women, but having a space that's yours and you can be whoever you want to be, and go out there and kick butt, but also represent yourself and be your true self.
No, I agree with that 100%. And, my dad was a pastor, rest in peace, dad, but at my mom's first lady. So everything, it was always, quiet, be quiet, be quiet. So for me, the game was
Uh-huh.
that, right? Just
Yeah,
exactly what you said. I mean, it just
yeah,
made me think about that. Like, I
yeah.
carved out my own space to be wiggly and active and aggressive and
Right.
competitive, instead of sitting, quiet, like, don't laugh. Cause, I'm a,
Yeah, don't ruffle any feathers. Don't,
yeah, don't,
don't. It was a space that was like, man, there's a lot of us out here that just want to, get wild, get competitive, get grumpy. You know what I mean? Like it is like
all
it's
of it.
cool to it's really
Yes.
cool to have that space, and I don't think you know it when you're in it necessarily.
No.
Like thrive in it, but you don't necessarily know like, oh, I'm not allowed to do that. You know what I mean? Like there's other spaces that this isn't really accepted.
Right. For
So,
sure.
and not everybody likes it. So yeah, I just think it's I just think it's as I said, as you get away from it, you just
Mhm.
realize who, all the people that made this even possible for me. And now wanting to give back and wanting to make sure that you're a positive influence and doing good things and making sure that the game keeps growing and opportunities keep growing. And you want to empower women and, and obviously sports my love, but anything, you just want to support them. So it's cool how you just go from full circle. Like, you know what I mean? You're in it, never thinking about all the other stuff. And then you finally realize, wow, like, it
Yeah.
was you're such a small piece in like this major sport and
Yeah.
you know empowerment piece.
Yeah. Empowered women, empower women. I stand on that 10 toes down every day. But
Yeah.
when you look at who you were, like a 14, 15-year-old Katie, what would she say to this moment that women's sports is having?
I mean, I probably about time. Like, I think that's probably it. And it's like, no regrets and like, oh man, I wish it would have happened earlier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not even that. It's just like I mean, like we knew this.
Yeah.
You know what I
Like,
mean? Like we tried to, and those that were a part of it, even all the women, but like even the guys that you play pickup with, and the guys that watch sports and are in
yeah.
college with you and stuff. Like, yeah, there's a subset that's just like, yeah, women can't do anything. But then there's a whole crew that knew that what you were doing and how tough you were and how much you put into it, and how much practice, and like it's no different.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's just be about time. Like we've been wait like and frustrating probably. I think back, I now I'm probably more frustrated than I was as a teenager.
Yes.
Of it has changed, but it hasn't changed that much.
No.
And
Yeah.
for women, people of color, all the things, and so that part of it now, you realize how hard it is,
Hmm.
and yeah, you make strides, but you understand that it hasn't gone to the level of where we need it. So that's also that staying locked in, staying
Yeah.
locked in, and also surrounding yourself with people who are like minded and value what you value, but also pushing the envelope as much as possible. And I just think it's yeah, but probably tell it's about time that we give these ladies in this game it's due.
That's right. Yes, overdue and due. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, let's walk through the Ohio State University, your decision to go there,
Yeah,
staying close to home.
yeah.
What was that about? And walk us through what that meant for you at that time in your life.
Yeah, so I've loved my time in the W, like truly, like playing, coaching, and then being in Minnesota is like basically a second family. Reeve and I go way back.
Mhm.
BB, Claire, like I mean, it was just a phenomenal, like from top to bottom. Glenn Taylor, ownership, like it's like full circle. He was my owner. He was the owner when I played in
Okay.
'99 to '05, and still there when I came. So it was like this.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It felt so like home and was perfect, and I learned so
Right.
much. Reeve's the best in the business. Like she's the
Yes.
best, probably the best. She is the best coach in the world, and
Yeah. Oh,
so learning from her, working with her, and also just hanging. Like we were like family and friends, and
yeah.
but it was just she always knew Ohio State was kind of in my wheelhouse.
Mm.
That's at some point. I've been leaving 25 years now. I leave for 6, 7 months and sometimes more when I was playing maybe overseas USA basketball. But this past
Mhm.
summer I was gone 7 months. I got married a year ago with 2 kids. One's a freshman at Ohio State. One's a 7th grader.
Love it.
um, and so it was just life, like the timing of life. Like honestly, it's just not getting any younger. Can't get these years back with my family. Both my parents and my my wife and kids. It was just yeah. So it really worked out. I'm thankful to McGuff and Coach McGuff because jobs just don't open and opportunity. College coaching is not on your time frame or in your location,
Right.
as everyone knows. And it's just the timing of it worked out, and appreciative of that, and being back. And going to learn the ropes, reconnect with a lot of people, but we'll miss the W a lot. But be a big fan, and I'll stay connected. But yeah, it's just more of a time in life to be home.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. First of all, congratulations. I mean, that's a total full circle. And wow, you get to pour back into the Ohio State University in that way. So when you were a student athlete at Ohio State, you all went to the championship game, right? Against Texas Tech in 96. You were Big Ten Player of the Year. You were Freshman of the Year as well at Ohio State. But your senior season in that game, I mean, it was packed. It was in Atlanta. I was at that game, by the
Yeah.
way. And did you have 40?
No, I think I had 30. I had
39.
28. I had 28. It was
Okay.
Swoops had 46. Uh,
Okay. Swoops had 40. Yeah.
yeah, we could have held her to 40. We would have won. But
Yeah.
no, I think I had 28. Solid game. Just couldn't quite. She had a heck of a year. I mean, she was doing that. I mean, she just rolled through the whole season doing that. But yeah, we had a. I mean, it was so much fun. Like you don't realize again teams and
Yes.
special teams. It was just a little bit of a to start off, won some games. It was just such a cool, great seniors, vets, and then had a bunch of babies. Our class we had 5, and just a great makeup of our team. And yeah, it kind of solidified and got me locked in with Buckeye Nation, and got the women's basketball team. It was just a great start to that. The 4 years weren't all successful in a sense. Like we kind of 500, so like my sophomore, junior year, even senior year was okay. Just didn't have the fit, both, probably, but we competed and worked hard. And obviously I had trying to win at Ohio State, but also try to make sure I was keep growing as an individual player because obviously I had dreams to be an Olympian. The leagues didn't exist yet, so I had no idea I'd play professional basketball in the States. It was just, I want to be an Olympian. So I was aiming for that, whether it was 96 or 2000. You were like, I'm going to just keep improving and going to USAB stuff. But then, in 96, as you know, the 96 Olympic team was the catalyst to all of this.
Yes.
Tara leading that team. They did all kind of media engagements. They obviously were meeting with investors and people behind the scenes, and did the college tour and everything they did. I mean, that was a year long, like on and off the court that they were working. And obviously the ABL came out of it. Half of them went to the ABL, half of them went to the WNBA,
Right.
and the rest is history.
Yeah.
So 96 was a huge year. And again, timing, nothing
Yeah.
to do with what I had to do. I didn't have anything to do with it, but I came out of college, finished my, time, and right off into playing, professionally in the States. And it just never would have known, like nothing, not anything you would have thought, not something I dreamed about. It was like a surprise, which is one of the best surprises, you know what I mean, that you could ever have. Now kids grow up thinking this is what I want to do. I can make a career out of it. I could,
Right.
Monetize it, where, most of us were like, whoa, we gotta do what? Like, I'd go play pickup I'd do it for free, but it's different now.
Yeah. With that though, excuse me, your decision, you said the Olympic team, most people, split WNBA, ABL.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've seen the documentaries on how tough that decision was. Like I heard Don Staley's comments about it too. And what was that for you that made you decide to do ABL at that point?
Yeah. So there was one was regular basketball, one was the summer, so that was a little odd. And then money was better in the ABL. WNBA wasn't as much. Columbus had a draw to me because Columbus Quest had a team. Um, I probably lean a little bit more to not grassroots-ish, but low key. Like the W was really like glitz and glamour, and had all the NBA behind it, and like all the, you know what I mean. It was just
Yeah.
like
Yeah. All
so.
right.
Me and most people do is like you kind of like, oh, Katie fits like maybe over here. So I don't know if it was a little
Okay.
bit of that, but the season was regular. The money was solid. It was in Columbus. Everything was unknown, the ABL, WNBA. So
Yeah.
I chose the ABL, and we had so much fun. We had great teams, great competition, um, and then obviously it went defunct, and we knew it wasn't doing great because I think they asked us to take a little bit of a pay cut at some point, maybe in the second year. We're going into the third. I can't remember. So it wasn't like we were like knew like, oh man, this thing. We were on
Uh,
BT Sports and stuff. Like it was like this mom and pop, like you know what I
yeah.
mean. But it was great. And then obviously when it folded, and I tore my knee up on that third year.
Mm.
I tore my ACL. So I was doing rehab and stuff. And it was right around Christmas. I was Christmas shopping with my brother, and I just got done with rehab. So I was looking crazy and
Oh
sweating
God.
and stuff. And I get a phone call from the local TV station, and they're like, "Hey, can you come in for an interview?" And I'm like, no, like I look crazy. And he's like, you don't know, do you? And I'm like, no, what? And they're like, the league folded. So that's how I found out about it. But it wasn't necessarily like, oh my gosh, I didn't know. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a
Felt it.
complete surprise.
Right.
Um, Definitely a bummer, but obviously lucky and thankful that the W was right there. That a lot of us moved over to, and it's doing great things.
Yeah. How about that, man? Wow. That's how you found out about the
Yeah, that's
ABL.
how I found out it folded, like officially folded. So yeah.
That's so crucial, Katie. Golly. Golly. But with the W and serving in so many different roles. Obviously, as a player, you scored 7,000 points as a pro to lead all pros, and I know that goes to the two ABL championships with the Columbus
Yeah.
Quest added on. But 7,000 points, you were a whole bucket. Number one. Number two, to see it on all different levels, like you were. I mean, if you had to say you were a two guard, but you could play some small forward and you were a point guard too. Like,
Uh-huh.
how would you fit in today's game if you were playing, like if you had a game tomorrow in the WNBA, how would you fit in that kind of wheelhouse?
Yeah, I think it's the versatility piece is huge. Players that can do a little bit more, like the PGs. Like I wasn't necessarily a traditional PG, but could think the game and know why you wanted to run stuff. Maybe I didn't have best passes or whatever, but I was a little bit more of a scoring PG.
Yeah.
But yeah, like a two, I could two, 1, 2, 3. Like it's because I can guard anybody, a little physical enough. But the bigs are a little bigger now, and I may not have to be able to mess with them down there. I'd have to be real active. Rebounding would be, it'd be different. That part probably would be hard, but the 1 through 3, I could probably handle it no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is like, I can think the game physically was, gifted thanks to my mom and dad, and then being able to put the ball in the hole at the end of the day gives you a lot of, you know, options when you're
Yeah.
playing. So
Yeah.
it would be fun. It's again just playing the game and the games, but
Hmm.
yeah, it's fun to think of them, and it's fun to work. Working with them is again. The fun thing is they don't know who you are. Most of them,
Also,
even
it's good.
even in the W, let alone college.
Yeah.
It's okay. Like it isn't about like I don't. I laugh when they like, oh, we just saw some. That's why you're around campus everywhere. Like your face is up on the. So it's just this funny like they'll figure out what they figure it out, but it's so long ago. It's not relative to them, and that's
Yeah.
cool. It's all about what you can do for them. But the W guys are a little different. So I joke with them a little bit. Some of them knew, but again, you're just an old person. Just I get out the way basically. So it's fun. It's fun because you had your moment and lots of memories, and it's cool though.
Yeah, but and I hear the humble spirit that you have, and I certainly respect and appreciate it. But you gotta let them know, Katie, that you.
No, I do when the time comes. Like I could, you could put me against anybody, and I'd probably put my money on myself. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't. It's not anybody who ever made me nervous. Like whether out because a lot of people could score, but they couldn't guard anybody. I could do both. So and not many people can play multiple positions, and yes, I can. And so, yes, like I don't like what I did, and would, as I said, would put my money on myself in almost all situations. But it is fun though. It's just fun. Because as you get older, you just know how these. It's just not relevant.
They're just
Like
like
it's
a
not like you don't know anything. You didn't
yeah,
do anything as a parent, as an adult. Like
yeah.
you didn't live life basically.
I know, I know. It's like my son just asked me the other day, "Mom, could you run?" I'm like, "Are you kidding?" Like, what you mean? I was like, "Yeah, I could run." He said, "Could you run it right now?" I was like, "I mean, my hamstrings would be appreciative of
Yeah,
that."
like there's
I mean,
like
I could
yeah.
a little bit. I could run. Like, stop it. Anyway,
I just
but
laugh
I
because
get that whole notion of
I
how
just
that.
laugh because it's so real, and you think about you, and when you're younger, how just think you know everything. I mean, it's just like this whole cycle of everything. So it's a lot of fun, but then when you can rub it in and tell them who you are, they'll be like, "Dang," you know what I mean? That's cool. But
Yeah, hey, you got to know where you came from to know
hey,
where
but
you.
I tell you, so I joke with JC. JC's on staff right
Yeah,
now as player development, which is
yeah.
amazing, and such a great one. And but I always joke with her. I said, "You get the youngsters, I get the parents and the grandparents. That's my wheelhouse. Those are the ones that know me. You get the babies. You go get them. I'll go take these guys. That's how we do it." So I joke with her all the time because they know, they've been watching her and me.
Yeah.
They're like, "Who is this?" The parents are like, "That's the."
Right. They're like, "Katie, over here, over
So
here."
I take parents, and the older folks, she goes and gets the babies. So that's our deal. So
Love that so much, man. That's so funny. Sheldon, man. That's she's so great and an energy giver. Same with you. And I know, like, serving as an associate head coach in the WNBA, head coach at New York, the WNBA. What is it like now? And I know you've only been there a month, right? At
yeah.
Ohio State coaching. So with the NIL and
Mhm.
all of the portaling, and all of the different aspects of college coaching, you see people like Carl Smesco, who just took over with the Atlanta Dream after leaving Florida Gulf Coast. And he said, the other day, the last podcast we had, he said, it's like they were pros on the collegiate level. So it's like the skill level is obviously enhanced in the WNBA, but they're still pros, if you will, because of the NIL. What's your take on that aspect of your new position there at Ohio State?
Yeah, so it does have that kind of semi-pro, without all the rules. So there's not transparency like in professional basketball. It's a lot easier. Just NW, you know your salary cap. You know what everybody's doing. You know everybody's salary. Just there's rules. You have contracts. You
Mhm.
have to honor them. Like you either get traded or you divorce or whatever. Like you can't just leave and take more money somewhere and just leave you high and dry. There's a CBA. There's all the stuff. So I think that's the one thing here is just it's evolving. I think also and then it's not set. Next year with the revenue sharing
Right.
and some of the other stuff will maybe give it a better organization. I still don't think there's the details of all the stuff. I'm sure there's lots to go and
Right.
be figured out. But um, yeah, it's challenging in some ways. Just the transfer portal kids. We stayed at school for our 4 years. Now kids, it's the norm to go to 2 or 3,
Yeah.
and it is what it is. So you just kind of play the game. Like you recruit, you try to get the good, the good ones out of high school. You look at transfer portal, but every kid that you recruit in high school may go somewhere, but may come back. So it's like build those relationships. But I just, again, I'm just learning. But obviously in the community here in Columbus, wanting to make sure that we can connect with people and hopefully understand that the women's game and investing in women is a great deal,
Yeah.
has great value,
Mhm.
has a large impact.
Mhm.
These women are phenomenal athletes and phenomenal basketball players. So, I want to connect. I want to make sure we're doing and making this program successful, both, product and financially in a way. Like that's kind of what I guess it is. I mean, that's what we're going to try to do. But also, whether it's the facilities, whether it's the trips to Europe, or maybe it's
Mhm.
being able to give them money, monetize, being able to do that. But
Mhm.
But also just connecting with the community and making sure that if they feel part of and engaged and connected, and also the alumni. I want
Yeah.
to make sure that we really kind of connect with everybody, make sure that we're using them, sharing with them that they belong. Like it's, I don't care when you played with Tara, you did, with Nancy, you were with Coach Foster, like whoever, like Beth Burn. Like again, I want people to come back, and we also want to use them as networking mentors, and so we got to figure that out where we just have a better database and make sure that
Mhm.
we do some events and things that they belong and really, so the players can understand the
Yeah.
history of what this is. Because again, when you're young,
Yeah.
your children, it's just in their little bubble right now.
Exactly.
It's me. It's only been me, and no, I mean, like, so it's just like kind of exposing them a little bit, and
Yeah.
maybe at some point it'll click that
Yeah.
I'm part of something bigger, and there's been before me. This is why I have these opportunities. And again, they may roll their eyes right now, and that's fine. But it
No.
starts to hopefully build that connection piece where it's bigger than yourself, and ultimately it will be, because they'll be in those shoes and have
Yeah.
appreciation. So yeah, so all those things.
Yeah.
I'm learning. They
Yeah.
have a great thing here. McGuff, Carla, JP, Ryan. They have a way of doing stuff. So I'm, again, just kind of learn and give all. You know what I mean? Because the season's already started. It's hard to, it came in on a, after everything's kind of
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of learning and stuff. But it's been great. The players are awesome, and
Yeah.
obviously at the end of the day, just want them to have success and,
Yeah.
on the floor, off the floor. So
No, I love that. And Kevin McGuff is a basketball savant. We all know that. His playbook. I know I've always had some banter back and forth where we kind of share X's and O's, like when I
yeah,
was coaching, like, I like that ATO you ran, and he'll
yeah,
show me, like, he has a lot of
mhm,
um resources, I guess, that he utilizes.
yeah.
But how will you enhance what Kevin McGuff is trying to do or trying to incorporate with this year's team?
Yeah, I think obviously the offense you can kind of tweak stuff, but he watches what is Twitter, X, whatever, anywhere, anyhow. It's like then how it plays, and then obviously the family plays. But
Right.
honestly, supporting if there's an idea or something we ran or something ideas, so he's game. I think it's probably the detail, like what I know works and what I know wins. And it's not necessarily X's and O's. Like it's your discipline, it's your attention to detail, it's finishing every possession, so creating that habit in practice. And
Right.
again, so it's like that kind of staying on them and not allowing, like, just kind of do a drill, like, what I'm saying. So try to stay in their ear a little bit and help in that way,
Yeah.
all of us as coaches, because again,
Mhm.
it's hard. Like, you're watching one thing, you're trying to run the drill, so you miss them not closing out or ball pressuring, or you know what I mean. So I think it's just challenging them to another notch, and be consistent with
Mhm.
it and how
Mhm.
you approach everything. You can't turn it on and off. So again, I think it's just more of that right now. Just anywhere watching film with post players. That's who I have. So every game I tag, just like I did in the pros, and little things like the stuff that you see and want them to do better.
Right.
So yeah, just kind of teaching and trying to stay on the little stuff, because that's ultimately is what's going to kind of separate the good from the great. Like, there's a lot of teams that have some talent, but the way you win is by consistently doing, like, the simple and little things, every single time. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's it right now. And then going forward, like, obviously things will be able to be more involved in some ways, but like right now it's just continue to learn and just kind of throw little things at that I see or do, or little ideas. And sometimes
Yeah.
you use them, sometimes you don't. But yeah, just kind of
Sure.
staying engaged and kind of reiterating everything they've already done, but staying on
Right.
top of
And adding it in. I love that you have the post players in the paint. Like,
it.
you
Yeah,
got the in the paint thing. Yeah, in the paint, baby. Yeah, work them out, Katie. Work them out.
I know,
Um,
man. I'm ready. I get them. I'm like, this is what you need to do. I'm like,
right? Get them. Get them. Get them. No, I love that, man. I love that. So, do you think the WNBA needs or will ever incorporate a G League?
I don't know. Again, money is, I guess, the if you had it all, you could do anything you wanted to, and have all the roster spots that you wanted. So I don't know. It'd be interesting what Unrivaled will um, bring to this. Like what this, what Fee and Stewie have kind of created. Will it be a place where they do the player development? Is a
Right.
really big part of it, which I think it is, and then the 3-on-3.
Yeah.
So I'll be curious to see if this kind of takes off in that somewhat of development. But then again, it's she's got all the big names. So how do you get the younger AU is kind of sort of like it, but
Okay.
probably not. You know what I mean? Like the substantial of the. So I don't know. I don't know. But again, money. It all comes down to that of having the money to kind of fund things and do things.
Yeah.
But hopefully someday there'll be a couple extra roster spots because of the compact season. It's just going to be tougher and tougher just to have 11, 12 man roster and have practice or whatever. But to have a couple who you're able to keep and develop would be great. So I don't know the next CBA. I don't know what they all
Right.
have in store, but it'd be great if each team could keep like one or two players to just kind of develop. So we'll see.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I could sit and talk to you all day. You know I could. I love you so much. And when you were here with the Washington Mystics here in DC, my babies were little. You came to
Oh,
the camp. I'm gonna send you that picture because there's this picture where Jordan, who is now 17, was
yeah.
on your hip and with the gold medal. You brought your
Yeah.
kid to the camp, and Bree
Uh-huh.
is 21 and a senior at Georgetown. It's like it's just so flash forward, but you were very impactful for them because, and I know it was just a couple times at the camp, but their eyes were so wide and you could see in the pictures they were just like, oh my god, like they were holding the gold medal.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to share that on here. I don't know if you even remember.
I do.
um I
Too.
saw it. You know how as a mom, right, you see
Yeah.
things kids eyes, and I saw the sparkle
Yeah.
and just the encouragement of the words that you gave, but also the example of who you are, not just for the game, but who you are. And I'm going to give you your flowers and you can accept them humbly. But I just had to share that because, like you said, you don't know at the
Yeah.
time the impact that you're having
I
on
know.
others. And I just wanted to share that I was watching as a fly on the wall mom,
Yep.
seeing my own kids like see you.
Yeah.
And it was an amazing experience. And I had to share that with you
Um,
today because it was so special to watch you hoop collegiately and obviously in the WNBA and the ABL and with the Olympics. You set out to do all those things and Katie did it, and
yeah.
now you're back pouring into others who will see you like my kids saw you that day with
Oh,
watch
I
and,
appreciate you,
and
Christy.
yeah.
Lots of love, lots of love.
Oh,
We've been through a lot of this all
yes,
together a long time. So
yeah.
I
Oh,
appreciate you.
I appreciate you so much. And guess what? I'm going to see you on Sunday. I have a
I know. I
game.
heard that. That's what Maria said. I was like, no way. I was like, she'll be here. She'll be fun. Start of the Big Ten. So you know how that changes everything.
It's on and popping. I'll be
Man,
right there. I'm
I
going to get
can't
my
wait. All right,
kids.
good. I'll see you a bunch then. I hope.
Absolutely. Oh, look, I got
Okay,
fireworks.
fireworks.
I did that. How'd I do that, B-Mac? B-Mac's throwing all the things. Listen, oh my
Oh
gosh.
shoot.
I love you so much. I appreciate you forever. And thank you
Okay.
for joining us today on In the Paint on the Her Hoop Sets Podcast Network.